All right. Looks like we're live, guys. All right, tonight, first off, hello everybody out there in the chat. How y'all doing tonight? We have our normal host with us tonight, Mr. Fight the Flat Earth. How you doing tonight, sir?
Not doing bad, not doing bad. Looking forward to another conversation with the amazing Professor Dave. Obviously, he's not happy with just destroying Flat Earth. He also wants to get rid of young Earth creationists. You want to leave anything for us, Dave, or...?
Right. That's why I was asking him beforehand. I said, "Hey, what's next? The moon deniers? You know, after that, what are we doing after that?" So,
to be honest, I think the next thing would be Electric Universe.
oh my God, Fight the Flat Earth just brought that up.
About that. Yeah.
He just.
I've been actually getting a lot of requests to debate some people that are into the Electric Universe because they actually have more scientific arguments than young Earth creationists and flat earthers. But the science is still very wrong, but they still think that it's science. So I think it could be more of an interesting conversation.
Yeah. Well, it's easier to dress up Electric Universe in scientific jargon. It's easier to it's just easier to con somebody with that than Flat Earth. But it's still wrong, yeah.
I think you need to attack anti-vaxxers as well, Dave.
To what?
Get rid of the anti-vaxxers.
Yeah, I'll tackle them all one by one. I just like to contextualize them within academic series. So when I do, more content on medicine, I'll throw anti-vax in there. Yeah, it'll all happen.
So many stupid people in the world.
Oh yeah. And okay, well, we didn't really get a chance to introduce you, but now I guess we will. Professor Dave, how are you doing tonight, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I had a couple beers at lunch, and I'm feeling yeah.
You deserve more than a couple of beers, Dave. After watching that debate between you and Kent Hovind, you deserve a beer or two or 7 or 12 or 24. But
I did have a beer that night. Yeah, pretty.
I was going to ask you, were you drinking water during the debate, or was that a beer that you were drinking during the debate?
No, that was water. Yeah, that was just water. Okay. Yeah. When I'm business, I'm business. I love to drink, but when I have stuff to take care of, the booze waits. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Anytime I'm doing something along the lines of YouTube or something that could, affect me and what I'm trying to do on YouTube, I try to be as professional about it as possible. Keep all the fun party and stuff. Every once in a while, I'll have a drink when we're doing a late night stream or whatnot, but I don't like getting trashed on stream, even if it is debating a flat earther or a creationist or something that deserves alcohol to help it go down your pipes,
Yeah, stay sharp.
Yes. So go ahead.
Straight away, there's a question in the chat from Brenda, and it says, "Question, Professor Dave. You were really aggressive with Kent. Do you think that's a good way to debate people like him?"
Well, I do think that being aggressive was absolutely necessary because he's such a greased pig that every time you try to pin him down, he squeals and jumps out of the corner. I do regret being so visibly agitated. I could have kept my cool a little bit more, but I do not.
No, that's understandable.
Yeah.
No, it's completely understandable, and I know you don't have a lot of experience debating these idiots as much as Team and I do, but it's very hard to maintain your composure in the face of so much stupidity. Right. And the thing about Kent is he's so stuck on his script that he can get flustered and annoyed if you try and take him off script, and that makes him just kind of ignore your questions, which is what I saw making you a bit angry. That he would just try and skirt around anything you brought up.
Yeah, I should actually have been much more aggressive than I was, but I should have kept my composure. I think that's a fair assessment. Yeah.
And you and I were also talking a little bit of. You and I were also talking a little bit about this during the pre-show when I was saying that it's really hard to keep your composure when you're debating somebody who's like not just being ignorant, but being willfully ignorant. When you're trying to explain something...
He's the most intellectually dishonest person I've ever run across in my entire life. More than flat earthers.
And I think he's hard to believe. Dangerous as well because he he's got this museum that he aims at children and everything, and he claims that he has the science behind him. And if you don't know better, I think Kent would be a very easy person to take as an authority, just because of the way that he is.
Leader, and he's just like the flat earthers as much as he denies flat earth. He's exactly what, you know.
Yeah,
we have a couple of
half of the debate, and the one thing you said at the beginning I really liked, as Kent just started saying stuff wrong, you would just shut him down. You're like, no, Kent, when you say something wrong, I'm going to correct you.
It's like, look,
just keep doing that.
I can be polite and I can hold my tongue, but then he's just going to stack a pile of lies sky high that I then have to address after the fact. I mean, look, the moment you make a statement, I need to address that statement, and I don't care if I'm interrupting. I can't allow him to spew what he spews. You know,
I appreciate that approach. I get blamed a lot for the same thing because I'm very passionate about what I would do, number one, and I'm okay with being somewhat aggressive towards my opponent. You know, like, it doesn't bother me that they're a little bit off tilt because of my aggressiveness, and that's just who I am. You know, I think that it doesn't. Go ahead.
I yearn for the day that I can have a debate with a rational person with whom I disagree. You know what I mean? I would never be so aggressive with somebody that I respect and disagree with. It's con men. These are con men. Flat earthers and Kent Hovind are con men. They're charlatans. They're lying for money. They don't believe what they say. So I am not going to apologize for being aggressive or even insulting to them. Whereas somebody that I simply disagreed with in a regular debate, which maybe one day I will have, you know, I would never act that way. You know what I mean? I would present my viewpoints and I would hear theirs. But this isn't a case of that kind of thing, you know.
Someone else in the chat asks, would you debate Kent again to hit any of the points that you didn't get to? Because I could see that during the debate there was things that you wanted to say, but you know, I think James was starting to wrap things up, and some things got left behind. So is there anything you would like to revisit with him?
I made a terrible mistake in allowing him to steer the conversation as much as I did. In watching it back, I can't believe how much I let him steer it towards certain areas that he wanted it to go to. And so, there was a lot that wasn't discussed. And if we did another debate, it would have to be a different format, where the format of the debate by nature held his feet to the fire on certain things that I wanted to talk to him about. So number one, he evaded discussing the Bible like the plague. I mean, because he knows it's indefensible. And he knew the moment that I said that I had some passages prepared that I wanted to discuss with him, he just would not allow it. He knew that it was not going to go well for him. So I fortunately allowed him to change the subject several times when prompted there.
That's the one thing that, you know, I've done several debates with Modern Day Debate, and I guess the one thing that I would say that needs to happen is a section where you can address the points that the other person brought up instead of just going to a direct open discussion. Because in the same sense, I had when I was in my debate recently, the flat earther kept bringing up one point, and we kept going over the same point over and over and over. And I was like, dude, you're giving me an uneducated and, you know, uninformed opinion on something that you are just saying I see on a computer screen. Like, that let's get to the next point where we can continue moving forward and forward and forward. But if we would have had that opportunity where I would have had like a 5 to 10 minute opportunity to address the points that he made in his opening argument, I think that would have been that would have helped me be able to hold him to the fire on some of the points that he made that I felt were wrong. I love Modern Day Debate. I think they're doing great, but I just think that there would be the addition of that would actually help the debate as a whole.
I love James. I really do like James, but he is far too concerned with making sure that both of the guests are very happy. And I think as a moderator, you can't be like that. If I'm moderating a debate and there's a conversation going on, if Dave had asked Kent a question and Kent kept avoiding it, I would say, no, Kent, you're going to answer that question that's been asked. I think as a moderator, you need to be more forceful in actually making sure points are addressed. Dave, I would love to get you on my channel for a second debate with him.
I mean, I've been thinking about it, and I don't know what forum it would be on. I'm open to basically any forum, but I have to really get the format just right. It has to be a line of questioning that it's built into the format that he may not evade the questions, and then we'll get to the bottom of these things. I mean, I learned my lesson. I'll chalk it up to lack of experience, but I too frequently in the debate allowed myself to go in the direction of demonstrating my scientific knowledge, not really fully realizing that it's irrelevant. My scientific knowledge is irrelevant because he just denies it. So if I talk with him again, it is going to be 100% playing his game and beating him at his game and just demonstrating that everything he says is stupid and wrong and holding his feet to the fire on it. I don't need to go on a 15-minute tangent on abiogenesis to demonstrate that I understand biochemistry, because at the end he just says, oh, that's all stupid. And then it just didn't matter.
It was disproved in 1865. No, it wasn't.
Well, yeah. So it's too esoteric. I can't get esoteric with him. I need to demonstrate to his face that he has no idea what he's talking about, and do really nothing but that.
I'd like to see you pin him down on some of the Bible claims, because I've been encountering more and more people that are using the Bible as evidence for flat Earth and young Earth creationists, and I don't understand how anyone can try and use the Bible as a factual thing when there's so many things in the Bible that are blatantly wrong and contradictions within itself. Like the Bible says that pi is 3 because it talks about a particular, it talks about a circle having 30 cubits around the edge and 10 cubits from rim to rim. Well, no, that's impossible.
That was going to be
the first thing that the universe don't allow that.
I even heard you say that in the, like, he was talking over you as you were pointing out the discrepancies in the Bible, and you said the Bible says pi is 3, and he was just talking over you to where you couldn't really hear it. And I was just like,
I didn't bring that up for discussion, and so I just sort of blurted it out in passing. But yeah, that was actually the primary passage I was going to bring up, and it's just demonstration that the people who wrote it have no idea what they're talking about. And if he was, I've seen him try to justify that passage, but look, that's an interpretation, So I would.
Yeah, and on one foot, he'll say Bible is not open for interpretation. It's a very literal book, and then on the other foot, he'll say, but hold on, this passage and that passage and all that make us look bad. Well, you have to interpret that in a good way, so it doesn't make us look bad. We were actually doing it for good reasons because this interpretation.
Yeah, you can't be a Bible literalist and then say, oh no, that's just interpreted in a different way. Yeah, that's just.
Now,
it's not
okay. So I have two questions. One is from me, and you can feel free to say no if you don't want to answer this. Kent Hovind actually asked you what your religious belief was in the debate, and you said, I don't feel like telling you. I thought it was a great answer because it was irrelevant to the point. It was irrelevant to the argument. So you could have been. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can be religious and accept science, but yes, I am atheist. I just didn't want to give that up but he posted content on me anyway. Even though he didn't have that information. But,
so he said he's gonna put you on whack, an atheist.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even. I saw that he did it. I didn't look through them yet. I'm sure that they're just. It's just.
Oh, has he already done that? Has he?
He already did that. Yeah, he already did that. But I mean, it's I don't have any problem with atheists. I don't have any problem with people who are religious accept science. You know what I mean? It's a personal thing for me. Atheism. I don't see the point in believing in a God. But if you say, hey, God started the Big Bang, all right, fine. I don't have nothing to say to you about that. You know what I mean? I don't have any problem whatsoever.
Yeah.
But I did think it was a great response when he asked the question for you just to be like, it's. Like, don't even worry about it. It's none of your business and irrelevant, so.
Yeah, because he wants to paint it as God versus no God, but that's not what it is, There are plenty of religious scientists, so.
Yeah. Well, what were you about to say, Fight?
Just I was agree with what Dave said, that if they want to say that God started the Big Bang, cool, that's fair enough. You can, justify your beliefs in that way, but the problem with using God for me is that we don't need God to describe the physical universe.
Right.
The actual physical constants of the universe that we know. We don't need a God to do that because we have answers for it.
Right. So that's what I say, right? I'm like, first off, you can't take God into account on anything. You can't try to apply God to anything you're trying to explain. Everything that you see is completely explained by science, or is in the process of being explained, or will eventually one day be explained. That's why God exists, is because there's a need for some people to have something to fill in the gaps until you get those scientific explanations.
Yeah.
My problem with people, God of the gaps, exactly. My problem is when the gaps get filled, and then they turn around and they go, well, no, it's God. God did it. So if you want to say God,
a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, and you've got 982 of the pieces, and it looks like a hot air balloon. It's a hot air balloon.
Right.
You don't need 18 pieces. We see what it is. We're going to work on it. We're going to get those last few pieces. We're going to get that last negative 36 seconds after the initial singularity, and we're going to figure out abiogenesis. We're going to figure out these things, but we've got
it's a matter of time.
A common line with flat earthers at the moment is that, where there's a crisis in cosmology, you need dark matter to explain your model, yet no one knows what dark matter and dark energy is. That's a really stupid way to think about things. We may not know exactly what dark matter and dark energy is, but we can see the effects of it in the universe. We know that there is so much of the universe that we can't see where the matter is, so we know there has to be something else. And we can see the effects on it in infrared between galaxies and stuff. And
this one I blame on the astrophysicists, because in the past, I don't know how long, 20 years or maybe 30, they've just become so intent on making all of the new terminology either quirky or sexy, such that people, lay people, if you called dark energy or dark matter something other than those terms, they would have no idea what it is and they wouldn't care. It's just that it sounds cool and everybody wants to know what it is, and everybody professes to be not an expert, but like, I can't tell you how many times I've heard comments about like, oh, dark matter is stupid. It's like, what do you mean dark matter is stupid? You're not an astrophysicist. You have no idea what you're talking about. You only want to talk about it because it's called dark matter and you think that sounds cool. If they called it, non-baryonic matter, then you wouldn't care. You wouldn't be talking about it.
You wouldn't give two shits.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so
a little bit with the acronyms and all this stuff,
So the other question that's been coming through the chat quite frequently is did you happen to catch Conspiracy Cats debating against Kent Hovind?
So, I've been made aware that happened. I didn't watch it prior, but if I do meet him again, I'll definitely go through that. I had heard that he cornered him pretty hard on a couple of points.
Yeah.
So I will definitely check that out.
He was aggressive in a very different way. He pinned him into corners and kind of talked around him whereas you were quite forceful in trying to get your points across. He was just more. He wouldn't let Kent get his script started.
Well, I should watch it then. I should take a lesson there. Yeah, then, I will revise my approach certainly if I encounter him again. Yeah.
And before we get on too far, I'm going to go over the super chats that have already come in, and then we'll get to the next part. The Athens 619 $2. Hate to start it off like this, but rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. Oh man, let me tell you something, guys. Yeah. Hey, that was a hard thing. This is a hard thing for me because I'm a big Michael Jordan fan. So of course, being a big Michael Jordan fan, I ended up by default following Kobe Bryant for pretty much his entire career, maybe not the last 2 or 3 years, but pretty much for his entire career. So to anybody out there, man, I feel for you. If this affects you, the day that Michael Jordan passes will be an emotional day for me. So I know there's people out there that are having an emotional day over the loss of Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace, brother. Rest in peace. So I know you're West Coast. Do you follow any basketball?
I don't follow any sports whatsoever, but I did hear that news earlier today. I mean, that's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. So,
yeah. And then $4.99 for Gripper Crapper. Humans are not evolved to use their intelligence to seek truth. Human intelligence is more naturally evolved to improve and maintain social status. Do you want to? react to that?
Yeah, it's a pretty good point. I mean, yeah, there's no evolutionary basis in seeking facts. Yeah, I think that's actually a pretty reasonable point, and I do think it explains the behavior of these kinds of con men. Whether you're talking about Scientology or you're talking about flat Earth or you're talking about a guy like Kent, I mean, I mean, I think it's very evident in flat earthers because it's so indefensible. But it's like, look. From their perspective, I have income and I have status. What is going to derail them from that? Very little. Certainly not being proven wrong is going to derail them.
So then we have £2 from Michael Barrett. I'm sorry. Most awkward moment. You want to talk about taxes? That was amazing.
He brought it up because he has that talking point all the time of like, I'm not going to pay money to be taught in school. It's like, dude, what are you talking about? How can you say that? Like,
I love when him as inmate 76421 from now on.
Well, I loved his response when he was like, "Yeah, we're currently trying to sue to get that money back. You're going to say sorry when I get my $300 million back."
Never gonna get money back.
Yeah, right.
And they're like, yeah, I'm innocent, and yet you were convicted and went to jail. I mean, come on, dude. Like,
then we have five Canadian dollars from Flirfs or Idiots. Kent Hovind. I'm not prepared for that. Conspiracy Cats debate. Brilliant. Yeah, Cats really did destroy him pretty damn good. Absinthe for 20 Aussie dollars. Hey, thank you, Aussie, and perfect timing too, because we're about to talk about the Aussies for just one moment. Please check out Alan Duffy's talk on dark matter on the International Space University's YouTube channel from last week. I am from ISU, and it is not only interesting, but and I can't see the rest of it. Let me go to the other window. But will help you when Flirfs bring it up. Yeah. They mostly just bring it up to try to prove us wrong, not because they believe in it. It's like trying to talk to them about gravity is convincing them that gravity exists. And you say, drop something, they go, that's not gravity, that's just something falling.
Yeah, that is gravity.
Okay. I always like to ask them when they say, oh, that's just something falling. I'm like, oh, are you prepared to rewrite the laws of motion? Because that's what you're doing right now. You're attempting to rewrite laws of motion, which aren't going to work in your favor. But let me get one more. $5 from the Athens 619. Fossils will never be used in honest court of law. Oh my God, your response to that was amazing. It was something along the lines of, yeah, but the judge isn't a molecular biologist or something along those lines.
The latter do this thing too. They talk about this like, oh, something happened in the court. It's like, when has the validity of scientific principles ever been determined in a court? Like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you saying?
Yeah. So many flat earthers say, oh, well, if we went to court, I could prove that the Earth's flat. And it's like, no, you don't go to court to argue about science. You just look at evidence.
Determine that.
Yeah.
But I think we missed the point of that super chat because there was a second part. It was said, he says will never be used in an honest court, that fossils will never be used in it, but then was found guilty in an honest court of law over his taxes. So he's quick to bring up, so he's quick to say, oh, yeah, they made the mistake, they found me guilty when I'm not guilty, but then he talks on the other side and says, oh, but they wouldn't have even accepted this evidence. But
that's a Kent level gotcha right there, yeah.
Yeah, plus the jury isn't made up of, like, professional people. They're made up of your peers, which can be anybody. So, huge difference. Okay, but we did have $20 from the Aussies come in, and I do want to say that, bring us to that one point we had. All right, so as most people know, I said that I was going to be donating all of my revenue from my merchandise from the month of February. We started a bit early because I wanted to start a bit early. We have the Bosses mugs that are up on my Teespring account right now. They're $2 over cost, and all the $2 that comes in for that month, all the merchandise, don't buy the shirts yet because I haven't been able to take them down and put new ones up, but for the mugs for right now, we're going towards, even the shirts, if you guys do buy one, that profit's going to, but I'll have the shirts up there to reduce price All the profit coming in for the month of February from merchandise will be going to one of the relief foundations. I'm sorry, one of the relief foundations for Australia. And I'll let the Aussies pick that out, because originally I said I would do Red Cross, but who knows if Red Cross is the best one that's working out there. And I'd really rather have some of the Aussies say, this is the people on the ground who are actually doing the work, and I'll donate the money to that foundation. So, I am putting out a video that is going to have, like, it's going to be my fundraiser video or whatever. It's not going to be my normal video. But you guys are going to love it. And if you're here for the live stream today, or you're watching the live stream in the future, this is we're basically going to play the video right now. But we're only going to play the segments that are in the video. This isn't the actual video. So the concept of the video is Kent Hovind versus Professor Dave. Who can make Kent Hovind look stupider? Did Professor Dave make him look dumber, or did Kent Hovind just outdo Professor Dave and make himself look so stupid? So what we're gonna do, is we're gonna first play Kent Hovind versus Kent Hovind. And this is every time in the debate that I've found where Kent Hovind made a complete ass out of himself without your help, Dave. So give me 1 second to get that loaded.
There's a lot of prey out there that are running from.
Okay. Oh, that opening is amazing right there, by the way, what he says there. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to let this play. It's about a 2.5-minute video. The second video that we play is going to be when Professor Dave made him look stupid. And we're going to let Professor Dave stop the video at any point and kind of expand on some of the points that he made, or some of the reasons that he thinks that Kent Hovind is an absolute tool and idiot. So, here we go. This is Kent Hovind versus Kent Hovind.
There's a lot of prey out there that are running from predators. Rabbits have been running from predators for a long time. Why haven't any of them evolved wings? Don't you think that would help? So a strawberry that became
what a dipshit.
8 times the volume. All they end up with those giant strawberries that taste terrible. Is it still a strawberry, Dave? Nobody's ever seen a strawberry produce a non-strawberry. Okay, I'm a kindergarten dropout, okay? I want the audience to see what a dumb religion you guys have chosen to follow. Science. Pay attention. Fossils, you cannot prove any fossils had any children at all. This coffee cup is made of 100% natural materials. Okay, ceramics from the ground and stuff like that. For a man to take the materials from the ground and produce a coffee cup is understandable. For an intelligent God to take the dust and make a human, that's logical. For the dust to make itself into a human, that's not logical, Dave. What's the gene code of this rock that you came from?
That's what you're doing.
The last thing I want to do is mischaracterize science. That's very interesting. We have a section in our museum working on right now about trilobites living with humans all along. So it's our man-made classification system started by Carolus Linnaeus and modified 1,000 times since then. I think in the biblical classification, if it swims in the water, it's in the fish category. So whales would be in the fish category by their classification. It's a matter of who's making the rules. You know, it varies all the time. Do you think a paternity test would show that you are related to somebody in China? I bet we all have a common ancestor with the Chinese. I think her name was Eve and his name was Adam. I am completely lost on what his question was now. Yeah, I believe paternity tests are fine. I don't think they would show that we all came back from a rock, though. I don't think paternity tests would show that. No, you don't have to believe in young Earth creation. By the way, 6,000 is not young. 6,000 is a long time. Did you know whales and battleships are both attracted by gravity? Well, no, even without the Bible, I could say it's obvious there's a creator. I think somebody created this coffee cup. Had nothing to do with the Bible. The living things came out of this organic molecule, came from this soup, from the rocks that got rained on. Dave, you believe you came from a rock.
Whales are not fish.
Today they're not, because somebody decided to put them in the mammal category. I have been studying science all of my life. I love learning new things. I've studied an awful lot in quite a few fields of science. I'm not the world's expert on any of them, but I've got enough common sense to know that dogs produce dogs and cows produce cows. It's true. Ask any kennel. Go to any kennel, call them up. Do your dogs ever produce anything but a dog? Dogs produce dogs. I'm going to say dogs produce dogs from now on, because that's, you know what? Dogs produce dogs.
My God.
As though that's not something he said 5 million times, and even a dozen times during the debate, even though the first time he said it, I explained why it's a dumb thing to say. He said it another 2 times in the debate. It's like that's the frustrating part, is just like definitively demonstrating why something is a dumb thing to say, and then watching him say it more times.
There's one particular thing there that he says that blows my mind, is that a god taking dust and making a man, that's just logical. In what fucking world is that logical?
Right? In Dino Park world.
Yeah.
Okay.
Making fun of people saying that life comes from a rock when that is literally what he believes. Like it's.
Oh yeah, and then the funny thing was is I believe it was either in your opening statements or right at the beginning of your open conversation, you brought up the rock. And you were saying, I know you're going to bring up the fact that we came from rocks. I'm just addressing it now because I know that's one of your talking points. Well, and he was like, and then he turned around and brought it up.
The first time he brought it up, he said soup. And then I playfully said, you're not going to do the rock thing?
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was.
Walking away from it. But then he got some kind of weird confidence towards the end. And he started bringing up the rock thing. And I was like, all right, you really want to do this rock thing that you always talk about? Let's get into it. So, well, I
don't know. Okay, so before we get to the next part, we do have a new member. Yes, thank you very much. Diabetic War Slug. Well, hell yeah, let's go, War Slug. Everybody in the chat, show that man how we do it over here. Excuse me. Drinking that Dr. Pepper. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, I started with the meat tube. What am I doing?
Mankinis. You're just obsessed with the meat tube team.
I am. Oh, well. He's getting meat tubes all the way around from me today. Just three helpings of meat tube for you, Diabetic War Slug. Thank you very much for becoming a member. Now, Dave. 23, Dave. Hold on, let me put that back up on the screen, because that look on Kent Hovind's face is priceless. 20. He said it with such confidence. Dogs produce dogs. With a big-ass smile. And he held that smile.
I'm going to start saying that. It's like, what do you mean start saying that? You've been saying that for 30 years. What are you talking about?
All right. So we have 23. We got it. Dave, I have confidence in you, man. This man right here is hard to out-stupid. So if you can find ways of making him look more dumb than he already looks, oh, man, you get mad props from me. So let's go ahead and load that video up. And like I said before, go ahead and stop me if at any point you need to expand on something you said or a rebuttal that maybe you didn't get a chance to say in the thing, okay? Here we go. Oh, whoops, let me go ahead.
Designed. Your argument is basically there is a thing that is designed, therefore everything is designed. Okay, well, a snowflake forms spontaneously, so everything forms spontaneously. It's the same thing. The conclusion does not follow from the premise. It's not a valid argument. But you say these things to simple-minded people to trick them. I'm not simple-minded, so why are you telling them to me?
I love that. I'm not simple-minded.
See, when you say things like frog turning into a prince, you're just revealing that you are a con man. Why are you saying things like frog turn into a prince and a car doesn't make itself from a tornado? These things are not valid analogies.
I am mocking it because it is stupid. It is stupid to believe a protista evolved to a human.
What? Based on your incredible expertise that does not exist because you have no education whatsoever?
I've got fossils all over our museum. Here's a petrified clam.
Kent,
could we prove this clam?
May I respond to the dumb thing that you just said? May I respond to the dumb thing that you just said? Or do you just want to keep steamrolling and say dumb thing after another?
No.
Did you hear what I just said? That fossilized organism does not have to have reproduced.
I've heard it till I want to puke on it. Okay?
You want to puke on it because it demonstrates that you have no idea what you're talking about.
I have every idea what I'm talking. You're the one that doesn't know.
No, you don't, or you wouldn't say that dumb thing that you just said.
It was on the chart. I just showed you one on the chart. I'm trying to help you understand, son, okay? Let's try this one.
No, you're not trying to help anybody understand anything ever. You're trying to make money. That's what this is. Don't try to screw around.
These folks live here and work here. Am I in this for the money?
Oh, yes.
No, come visit.
Oh my gosh, your minions agree with you.
You have
what
no
a
clue what you're talking about. Now,
okay.
Simple.
Okay, Dino Park man.
Years, I believe.
No, you didn't.
Hold on. We're gonna pause there. People got to take that in for a second. That was amazing. If you didn't catch that.
Oh no, you bet. Come visit.
Oh my gosh, your minions agree with you.
You have
what
no
a
clue what you're talking about. Now,
okay.
Simple.
Okay, Dino Park man.
Biology. 15
No, you didn't. No, you didn't, Kent. No, you didn't.
Okay. Okay.
You lied to children in a church. That's not teaching biology.
That's very interesting. We have a section in our museum working on right now about trilobites living with humans all along. There might even be some.
Yeah, that sounds fascinating, though it's not based in reality.
I got video number 6.
I don't need to watch any of your videos, Kent.
You didn't? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Did you?
I didn't, and I don't need to.
Well, no, even without the Bible, I could say it's obvious there's a creator. I think somebody created this coffee cup. Had nothing to do with the Bible. This has a creator.
Yeah, another man-made object that has nothing to do with anything. Your argument is that a designed thing exists, therefore everything is designed. Well, I can tell you that something like a snowflake forms spontaneously, so everything forms spontaneously. Neither of those conclusions follow from the premise. They're both bad arguments. You should stop saying it, even though it's one of your favorite ridiculous things to say.
The living things came out of this organic living molecules came from this soup, from the rocks that got rained on. Dave, you believe you came from a rock. You just admitted it and don't even know it.
No, I don't. I believe that organic molecules produce life, but you know who does believe that humans came from rocks? You do. You believe that God created Adam from dust. So you're describing your ridiculous belief.
Now,
not mine.
Let me try it. Nobody sees it happen without intelligent input. An intelligent God can take the dust and form it into a man and breathe into the nostrils and it comes alive.
And you don't think that's stupid?
No, I think that's the only answer we can come up with.
You're looking at cladistics and evolutionary biology and very well understood things that slowly create organization over time, and you think that's stupid, and you think a God going on dust is not stupid?
So it's our man-made classification system started by Carolus Linnaeus and modified 1,000 times since then. I think in the biblical classification, if it swims in the water, it's in the fish category. So whales would be in the fish category by their classification.
Oh my God!
It's a matter of who's making the rules. You know, it varies all the time. So I don't think
one
that's
of many errors in the Bible. One of many errors in the Bible.
That's not an error to call a whale a fish.
Whales are not fish. Whales are not fish.
It is.
What does that have to do with anything? Whales are not fish. Also, pi is not equal to exactly 3. There are tons of errors in the Bible, whether you want to admit it.
That's not an error. By our modern classification system, whales are no longer in the fish category. I don't think God cares about them. He said if they swim in the ocean or the water, they're in the fish category. So he put them in with the fish, and that's fine with me.
Is it that, or that the people who wrote the Bible had no idea what they were talking about?
I think anybody looking at a whale swimming in the water would say, you know, that could be in the fish category. No problem.
How does God have so little understanding of his own creation that he thinks that whales are the same as fish?
Evolution has nothing to do with science, Dave. Evolution has nothing to do with science. Science is things we can observe, study, test. We can't make life in the lab.
This thing about seeing, but you admitted that you can't see atoms, and atoms are the basis of chemistry. So there's really no water to this argument that we have to see things. So you're wrong.
So if science has never been able to produce life, therefore, it's part of science because nobody's ever seen it.
Science has also never been able to produce a universe. So what?
I am completely lost on what his question was now. What was it? Oh, paternity test. Yeah, I believe paternity tests are fine. I don't think they would show that we all came back from a rock, though. I don't think paternity tests would show that.
No rock, because rocks don't have genes, Kent.
No, you don't have to wait for creation. By the way, 6,000 is not young. 6,000 is a long time. Billions is pure imagination, but 6,000 is not young. But no, you don't have to believe that to be a Christian. Many people love the Lord, believe they've been saved, they're going to heaven, they're a Christian, and they believe the earth is billions of years old. They're wrong. But Jesus simply preached the truth. All you do, preach the truth. And some turn away because of that. In John chapter 6, at the end of chapter 6, almost everybody turned away from Jesus for just simply preaching the truth. It's been the history of all through the Bible. The prophets would preach the truth, and some would get angry, and they'd stone them to death or kill them or do mean things to them. So preaching the truth sometimes angers people. I think Dave's pretty angry tonight.
Radiometric dating versus some book says a thing. Thank you for confirming what I said in my opening statement.
I believe
that. That's your evidence for everything. I don't care what your book says. It's a book. How about Harry Potter? There's a guy named Harry Potter. He does magic and flies around. Did that happen too? Is that true?
You're the one with the imagination. You think a protista became a whale in a pine tree. That's imagination, Dave. That's not science.
Argument from incredulity. I'm sorry that you don't understand biology. It's not my problem.
It is incredulous. It is completely incredulous to believe a pine tree and a whale and a mosquito are related.
Zero scientific training and doesn't understand science at all, as you continue to demonstrate.
Oh, I think I
have to
understand
learn science to understand it. Did you know that? Did you know that you have to learn science to understand it?
Dave, a strawberry becoming a strawberry
I'm using that.
is not evidence that a protista became a whale.
What do those two things have to do with each other? I'm not a dumb person.
They have to do with showing you have a religion. You don't have a science, you have a religious belief.
No moral code, no social structure, no evoking a deity, no rituals. It is not a religion. You can call it one, but you're wrong.
All the theory of evolution states is that life creates new subcategories. Honest question, do you not understand this simple concept, or are you purposely misrepresenting evolution?
The latter.
Dichotomies. Which is 2? 2 plus 3 is 5, or 2 plus 3 is 10, or 2 plus 3 is 20. Neither one is correct. I do completely understand. No, I keep trying to give analogies to help you understand, Dave. I'm really trying to help.
There are dumb analogies that don't correlate with reality at all.
Did you know whales and battleships are both attracted by gravity? That proves they're related.
Battleships are not biological organisms.
Oh my goodness, 24.
Well done.
Wow. Barely pulled it off, Dave, but yeah, you're the man, you're the champion. The ultimate Kent Hovind destroyer.
I just got to say that for James, that must be particularly painful because James is a religious man, and to have someone who says they are religious like Kent Hovind saying such stupid things, he must be thinking, God, you make all religious people look like morons.
Yeah, so any points on there that you want to expand on?
I don't know. None come to mind. Which are your favorite? I can't remember.
Well, I like the contradiction that he had when he was talking about the persecution of Christians who preached the truth in, like, I guess, at the beginning of Christianity, you know, but then failed to acknowledge the persecution that the Christians did on the rest of the world that didn't believe in Christ for a long time. So it's like
source of suffering in the history of humanity. Crusades, Inquisition.
Hey,
I mean, give me a break.
Yeah.
Dave, I've got a question for you. Are submarines fish?
Well, they're in the sea.
They're in the ocean. So...
God thinks they are.
God certainly thinks so. Yeah, I mean, it just all he needs to do is come up with an answer that appeases his viewership, which is a very low bar scientifically.
Yes.
Non-existent. And he doesn't care how dumb he sounds. He knows how dumb he sounds. He just needs to say anything that will appease the however many couple thousand people that are watching and rooting for him, you know. Doesn't matter.
I thought one of the things that he brought up, and a good point that you made back, was when he said something along the lines of the fossils, there's no proof that these fossils mated and had baby fossils, you know, or baby animals of that species. So there's no way to say that you could have, or that this is tied to that, because even if there's identical, you know, it's identical basically to 98% or 99%. There's no way to say that they're identical because you don't know for sure. You weren't there, basically.
Well, no. The main point there, and he knows that it's not an argument. He was saying that a fossilized organism, there's no evidence that it reproduced. Who cares? It's a member of a population.
Right.
That population reproduced. That organism does not have to reproduce. So I offered that analogy to demonstrate that, and it sounded like he kind of got it. And then 10 minutes later, or however many minutes later, he said the same thing again, even after I demonstrated. And I pointed that out to him, and he said, "You've said it so many times, I want to vomit." It's like, what kind of a response is that? You're just saying you're upset that I proved that you are wrong and don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry about that. I'm sure you want to vomit.
Darth Weaver says Kent's argument is really odd because his mum clearly gave birth to a monkey.
Yeah, no, there was a few parts in there. I didn't understand the polyploid argument. Do you want to give a quick summation of that argument, so that I'm trying to learn this?
he wanted to get away from that as quickly as possible because he doesn't understand genetics. But polyploidy, so meiosis is the cellular process by which organisms produce gametes. So meiosis in us produces our sperm and our egg cells. Right, these are the things that are going to fertilize to create a new organism. And sometimes during meiosis, there's this phenomenon called non-disjunction, whereby the chromosomes don't separate evenly. So one of the gametes gets all of them and the other gets none. And when that happens, it's called polyploidy. And when two polyploid gametes fertilize one another, you get an organism that is tetraploid, basically just has a larger chromosome count than another. And this is instantly a new species. It cannot interbreed with the parent organism. So I was just trying to use, because earlier in my opening statement, I gave a long list of examples of speciation that we have observed. And so when he said, can you give me an example of an organism that produces a new species? I could have simply replied, any observed speciation ever, including anything from the list I gave you in my opening statement. But I pushed this polyploid thing because I wanted to demonstrate that he doesn't understand genetics. But if you'll catch, he goes, I say, do you not understand how meiosis works? And he goes, meiosis. Well, let me just say one thing. The rabbit should have wings. And it's like, oh my. And
that had to be the dumbest thing he said all night. When he said, the dumbest thing.
And I feel so stupid that in that moment I didn't mock him and say, right. Oh, I'm running away from meiosis because you have no idea what you're talking about. I give myself a B- at best on this debate because there were too many, 3, 4, 5 instances where I just really allowed him to squirm his way out of a corner, and I shouldn't have. I'm really ashamed about it. But if we meet again, it won't happen because I'm done with trying to demonstrate my scientific knowledge because it doesn't matter. The next round will be me pinning him in a corner and just relentlessly barraging him. And that's the entire
I love it.
Because I'm just, if he does that again, it's like, nope, you're running away. You don't know what you're talking about. Nope, explain that thing that you were just trying to say. And that's what the next round will be if it occurs. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, well, let me go through some of the super chats. Maybe some of these people have messages for you. The first thing is we do have another new member. Thank you very much, The Butcher. Again, today everybody's getting full fucking meat tubes. So here you go, buddy. You're a butcher anyway, so I'm sure you'll appreciate the meat tube. Looks like my chat's taking a second, but it's okay. Oh, well. Okay, good. There you go. Now I can hear and see everybody. My whole computer stopped there for a second, I guess. All right, so there you go. Thank you very much for becoming a member, The Butcher. And then on to our super chats. We have $1.99 or £1.99 from Hyper Protagonist says Professor Legend. I like that. I like that name. I like that name. I might just start. Yeah, we might just have to start calling you Professor Legend when you come onto my show.
Whatever you want.
Rennie Baby for $2 says a book says a thing. Best quote ever. I agree. I love that when you said you just validated my point that a book said a thing.
And notice that 80% of his opening statement was Bible quotes.
And he didn't want to talk to you. He didn't even when you offered to read scripture, he stayed away from that. Most religious people will want to do that, will want to talk scripture with you until they know you're about to use it against them. When you know you're about to use it against them, they stay away from it.
What was about to happen, and I should have pressed it harder.
Okay, so Game Nerd with 200. Oh my God, I always say this the wrong way. I think these are won, 200 won, or ruples, or something like that. Game Nerd, yell at me in the chat and let me know what kind of monetary system that is, or monetary unit that is, so I can go ahead and be correct next time. So Hovind thinks God, and you always tell me, I just forget. Fight, remember. All right, Game Nerd says, so Hovind thinks God made man from dust and then gave it CPR to bring it to life. Yeah, that's a dumbass thing to say. That's a dumbass thing to say, especially after saying that it's illogical for it to happen naturally. Like over billions and billions of years.
Says either. It's also not true.
Exactly. But yeah, that is a pretty dumb thing for him to say. Taxon Nissan for 45 DKK. Denmark, I think, is what money that is. or Denmark
Donkey
money.
Kong dollars.
Donkey Kong dollars. That's what we're gonna call them tonight. Jesus warned his followers about people making money off of God's techniques, or off his teachings. His techniques. His teachings. Kent should read the Bible. Sorry, guys, not reading the best from the super chats tonight. But that's one thing that I was taught coming up in a strict Southern Baptist upbringing, was that you'll always find people lying about God, trying to pull you away to one of the many gods that are out there, or the magic of science that's going to try to make you believe that God doesn't. I was taught all this shit, and I'm so glad I'm not, part of that anymore. I'm so glad that I didn't force my son into that belief. That's probably the best thing I could have ever done as a father, was not push my son towards religion. Jeff for $5 Aussie says, Hovind says God blew on the dust and created Adam. So God gave Adam the first ever blowjob. Therefore God is gay. Ba-dum-bum. Yeah, that's a great point. Logically makes sense,
So he must be gay, straight, trans, everything, right?
Exactly. And then we have a new member, Jeff Schwartz. Thank you very much, sir. Again, today I'm just doing meat tubes for everybody. So here you... Oh, wait. What did I miss? Oh, Rampant for 2,500 Chilean pesos. We call those claps around here. Are you familiar with the evolutionary...
The other sign you're on about is rupees, by the way.
Rupees. Okay, so I did say rupees.
Indian rupees.
In passing. Ruples. Okay. All right. I said rupees. Why are you fucking confusing me, Fight? Chill out. I'll find out on my own one day. Rampant for 2,500 Chilean pesos. Are you familiar with the evolutionary argument against naturalism by Alvin Plantinga?
Alvin and no, I'm not familiar. No.
Well, yeah, but I guess I'll have to look into that one too, because I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to expand away from just covering flat Earth stuff. I told you already in the pre-show, arguing with flat Earthers is really like arguing with people who failed third grade until they're 25. That's literally how they are.
Still, are we done with it yet, or what's going on there? It's still happening?
Stragglers. Most of the big... we talked about this last time. Most of the big guys kind of stopped putting out videos when you hit them, because you didn't hit them like all of us hit them with the comedy and the jokes and all that, and mixing a little bit of science. And no, you just went right after the exact scientific points they bring up, and you answered them with exact science, and you put it in a really simple way to understand. I think it just kind of took the wind out of the sail. I think you're still going to find flat earthers out there, but you don't really find flat earthers that are making content anymore. Most of them are just doing live streams.
Who's going to these conferences? There's got to be 300 people. How many people are going to these?
I went to it. I went to the Flat Earth conference 2 months ago. It was in my hometown. Yeah, I went up there and was right in the middle of the belly of the beast of
Where is that?
Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
So, they came out here. I'm sorry?
How many people were there?
So I got kicked out of the conference pretty quick, so I didn't get a good visual of myself, but we did talk to a sound man who was working the conference. So he wasn't a flat earther, but he also wasn't vested in the globe earth lie, or whatever you want to call it. And he told me that there was at most 400 people there. And that was from...
There was less than 400.
Yeah, they recognized me.
And they were like, get this guy out of here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, Dave. Dave, hold on. I'm going to play you the video real quick of me getting booted out of the Flat Earth conference. It's amazing.
The organizer came over.
Yeah, okay, so let me find that video real quick. Grab the conversation real quick while I find that video.
Okay. Hey, just on the spot now. So, Dave, what would you say was the dumbest thing that Kent said during the whole debate?
Okay, what is the dumbest thing? His refusal to give up the analogies with man-made objects, no matter how many times I prove them wrong. Man, what is the dumbest thing he said? It's just his regular talking points like he's so stuck on his script that no matter how many times you definitively deconstruct his point, like he'll say it again in the same conversation. I think that's really the most indefensible thing that he ever says. I mean, he's never going to stop saying dogs produce dogs for the rest of his life. He'll never stop saying it.
I'm going to ding him every time he does.
But, yeah, it's just, and I mean, I tried to make a point about that we breed them. You know what I mean? There cannot be a disruption of gene flow if we are literally breeding them and making them have sex with each other. So that was beyond lost on him. Obviously, he has no concept of gene flow or But yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna get this video up here. Stupid. Okay, so the first thing you need to know, Dave, is I'm not an asshole all the time. I can be a nice guy, right? So when I was at the Flat Earth conference, what's that?
Because I come off as an asshole in my debate against Kent.
Oh man, no, you're perfectly fine. My crowd, okay, I'm an asshole. I'm a self-proclaimed asshole, and my crowd's still here watching. They love me. They don't mind the assholeness. So I'm sure that the people watching tonight appreciated your approach to that debate. So you got a bunch of fucking fans out there. But anyway, so. Let me go, or I promised these guys when I went there, I promised not just my people, because I wanted to get in there and talk to them. It was their home territory. I didn't mind, not being aggressive, not trying to preach my beliefs onto them or and when I say preach my beliefs, I'm saying from their point of view, they see it as a preaching of beliefs. But I wasn't there to impose my belief system on them. I just wanted to go in and kind of talk to them and get an idea of what they were in person. I'd done all this on the internet so far, and it was a great opportunity. But I was there, and here we go. Let me go ahead and put this video up. Fight, tell me if you can hear this. Hold on, I haven't started playing it yet. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that was hilarious, guys. No way. So okay. Even though I didn't touch it. So.
All those idiots are coming back to haunt you now, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I haven't called him an idiot yet, though. So. Okay. I'd love to interview. So let me get you the premise, and you got to see this because this is like one of the popular flat earthers. Okay. So nobody knew that it was me. I'd already introduced myself to the organizer of the event, and I mean, they know who I am, but I'd introduced myself to the organizer of the event, and then we were getting ready to shoot some B-roll footage and do some stuff with another creator named MC Toon, who was also there. So D Marble, who's a popular flat earther, comes out, and I try to get him to interview, right? So here's how this all started, and I'll just let it play from there. Let's go ahead. Hey, how you doing? D Marble, right? I'm David, Team Skeptic. Nice to meet you. I'd love to interview you, man. We're here to... That's another no, right? Oh, I'm glad. I caught that one on tape, though. I caught that one on tape, yeah. You know, Dave, while the insignificant parts plays, I'll tell you, man, that's the problem with them is they won't even talk. They're so scared of the conversation that that they just run from any opportunity that somebody with an opposing opinion and an intelligent rhetoric, that knows what they're talking about, knows the arguments, how to address the arguments. They'd run away from that. They'll talk to anybody that's ignorant to it.
You're a threat to their status.
Oh yeah.
All people, in particular all men, will cling to any semblance of status that they can muster, and this is theirs. They will not engage with anyone who threatens their status.
Yeah. Well, so we start walking around and getting some footage here, and I'll go ahead and unmute it again. And this is where the owner comes up, or the guy that runs the show. He comes up. That's fine.
Yeah.
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Oh. Sorry, Mark.
I can get a brighter light if you want one.
All right. Well, we've got here Tesla's bust apparently because I don't know why he didn't think the Earth was flat. We have these maps that don't work at all. I don't know why you use them. This one here that was tested that both Globebusters and Rob Skiba thought was pretty good, except that they said that the lines of longitude were the same width, making it a cylinder. So that doesn't work. And this guy here, that's both square and round, to somehow match the Bible, I suppose.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, look at this. It's as flat as a pancake.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
He's got a
Of
hat.
course.
That's awesome. That's nice.
Very good. We're not bothered. What did you ask?
I just said he's got a hat.
Oh yeah, Texas Ranger.
Yeah.
Or state. He might have been a state trooper. I'd have to look on his shoulder to see what it was. But there's lots of cops down here that wear hats.
Anybody? I just asked a couple people for an interview. They told me no, and I was like, yes, sir. Thank you. Shook their hand, and they walked off. This is public space. We're not.
Not now because they paying for this space right now.
Okay.
So you will have to, if they don't want you to get your.
Well, the rest of it is me just getting kicked out. We don't have to watch all that, but yeah, it was funny. I was there less than 10 minutes, and man, they were already like, "No, get out, you're not allowed here." Like, what the fuck, man? Have a conversation with me, shit.
Yeah.
And then, do you know who?
You're scared.
Do you know who Mark Sargent is? He's probably the most popular flat earther.
Yeah, I watched that Netflix documentary actually prior to all of this stuff with me happened. So I even saw those globebusters at the end, taking their measurements. And so I found it very amusing when they approached me, and I was like, oh, these are the guys from the thing that proved this round accidentally. Like, it's really cool. So yeah, I never dreamed that I would get, it was never my intention to get dragged into any of this stuff. It's just that I'm a very vindictive fellow, and they insulted me so thoroughly that I was like, all right, that's not gonna fly.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
I can understand vindictiveness, especially when they run. That's the problem. It's like if you just have the conversation, if maybe we could all come to an understanding, and it's not necessarily that I'm going to come to your understanding, but at least you can understand why I'm coming from where I'm coming from, and why I believe and know you to be wrong. And they don't want to have that conversation. It's again back to the willful ignorance. They would rather not have the conversation and insult you and just keep solid with their beliefs.
It's hard enough to have that conversation with somebody that possesses genuine beliefs. So forget about having it with somebody that knows that they're wrong and are lying for money and status. I mean, it's a defense mechanism. They're going to defend their status. You know what I mean? They're not going to have a genuine conversation with you. And you're right that is difficult with somebody who genuinely possesses wrong beliefs. That's a genuine challenge that may or may not be able to be overcome. But with con men, there's no challenge. It's they're lying. You know, what are you gonna do? So.
Yeah, and that's why I believe I got kicked out. Not because I offered a differing opinion, but because I was a threat to their big moneymaker. Every year, the Flat Earth International Conference is a moneymaker for somebody. So I think that they just saw that more as a threat.
Much money. People.
Yeah, well, to them, that's probably fucking 5 years worth of salary.
It's a couple months of rent, probably. But to be perfectly honest, I mean, I don't think that they're making very much money. I think they're probably skirting by. I think they're making rent and they don't have to have a job. I mean, most of us would rather just have rent appear than have a job.
Yeah.
But I really do believe it's the status. I believe that they feel special for being some kind of figurehead in some kind of a movement. You know what I mean? They get on stage and they talk and people cheer. Who doesn't want that? Everybody wants that. I want that. I want it too. You know?
I'm gonna also say something about that because I brought that up to an ex-flat earther. Okay, and I got a lot of shit. A couple people in the chat at the time were saying, "Oh, you're being unwelcoming to this ex-flat earther that's coming out and saying, hey, he was wrong." And I was like, but here's the thing: I appreciate people who can say they were wrong, but what I can appreciate or what I cannot appreciate is people who say that they're wrong for a false reason, a fallacious reason, to say something like, oh, I'm sorry, I want to be into the globe earth now so that you can be that flat earther that changed to the globe earth. Not because you actually believe it's a globe or you stop believing in the flat earth, but because it's a new stage for you to get on. Even if you're really a globe earther and you're just using the flat earth to be your stage of feeling special, and then you say, okay, well, that's dying off, I need to find something different, then you jump over here to this other stage, which is I used to be a flat earther, now I'm a globe earther, so I'm special. And his name was Seek Truth, Speak Truth, and I truly believe that in what he said and that he is genuine about about his move from flat Earth to globe Earth, I just had to ask the question, you know?
Is worth acknowledging ever. There's nobody in the entire world with the word truth in their handle that is not full of
we call that the truth paradox. There's many like that. One of our favorites is a guy called JM Truth. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he said the sun can't exist because it's on fire and there's no oxygen in space.
This was also the guy who said 10 to the negative 17th was a negative number and that the vacuum of space sucks.
I mean, that's the tricky part because it's like, look, it is a little bit difficult to understand nuclear fusion, right? It's not like the most trivial thing of all time, but sorry, what do you want me to do about it?
Oh, it was so funny. It was like a moment of like jubilation in one of his videos, and it looked totally unscripted. He was sitting there, he was closing out a video, and he goes, wait, now that I think about it, the sun is on fire, it exists in space, and there's no oxygen in space. So how is it on fire? And you're like, oh God, oh God.
This is also the guy that did an hour-and-a-half video debunking a painting from NASA.
Yeah. He debunked he spent an entire live stream, entire video that's up of him confirming that an artist's rendition is in fact an artist's rendition.
Right.
Well done, JM. Well done.
Yeah, good job. Good job.
With incredible technique, I'm sure, as well. Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. They think that Photoshop is used for photo forensic analysis, and the way that they prove things are fake is by increasing the contrast and going, well, that looks weird. Well, yeah, of course it does. You just increase the fucking contrast.
You made it look... Yeah.
Yeah. So what's next with you? What do you have on the plate?
I mean, I'm forever just doing what I'm doing. Occasionally, I take these little detours into whatever this thing was with Kent. I mean, Modern Day Debates reached out to me, and I looked up who Kent was, and I was like, all right, this guy sucks. So I got to do something about that. So I mean, like, I like it. I like the challenge. I want to be this guy that kind of debates and like takes on these con men. Like I like it. I feel like I'm kind of that guy to do it. But I mean, obviously,
for sure.
My top priority is my channel, and I'm right now I'm working on pharmacology content, microbiology. Later I'll do nutrition, more biology, more organic chemistry. Trying to find somebody to help me do some more math because I got to tap out on math. I've covered everything I can. Just more stuff, you know. I mean, I'm just trying to cover all the academic subjects, and it's going well. I'm finally, as of about 6 months ago, becoming somewhat profitable with it too, which it's been a long time coming. So that feels good as well.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. Always nice to bring in a little bit of money doing something that you love to do. Especially when it's entertaining other people, you know. I mean, that's like everybody wants to entertain. And we've talked about this before. You have to have a certain, even just a tad bit of narcissism to be successful in the entertainment business, because you have to care about yourself. You have to care about your image. You have to be kind of into yourself to be the entertainer. Otherwise, you're just not going to be entertaining. Otherwise, you're just going to be this little really boring, oh man, you know, here's my opinion on something. Nobody cares about that, and everybody wants to see that person.
I have all to believe that I have any business explaining any of this stuff. Yeah, I mean, I would argue that the regular content of my channel is not terribly entertaining. It's just informative. You know what I mean?
I love it. Hey, I watch all the time, Dave. I watch all the time. So
yeah,
I try to watch the Italian stuff, but I just can't.
Well, you have to really you know, you got to really want to learn Italian. Yeah, it's not like a casual watch.
Why can't you do Spanish? I would do Spanish with you.
I mean, I learned Spanish in school. I mean, I would probably want somebody to design the curriculum. But Spanish and Italian. I mean, Spanish. I think that my pronunciation is fairly good. It's not quite Italian. I learned Italian growing up, so I can speak that well. Spanish I could probably do. That's about it, though. I don't think Like if I was trying to do like French or German or something, I mean, every comment would be like, this guy can barely speak, correctly. So I think I might do Spanish.
We're back in 5 minutes. I need you to Lou.
All right. Yeah, the Spanish would be cool just because I have family from, the Spanish-speaking family from South America and whatnot. So I already have a somewhat grasp on it, and I probably could find myself actually getting into expanding my Spanish. So, but yeah, I do watch your stuff, man. I think it's good to learn. As an adult, I try to continue to learn. Every day I want to learn. I watch, of the time I spend on YouTube, I would say 33% of it is watching bullshit. And we're talking about, Star Wars, Star Trek, all this just irrelevant stuff that has nothing to do with my life. It's all about entertainment. A third of my stuff that I watch is also bullshit, but it's bullshit for the channel. So it's like watching Flat Earth videos, or I've got this one where this person's talking about transcendental meditation and what not to do when you're lucid dreaming. When you're in this other world that you've created for yourself, here's what you shouldn't do that will affect you in this world. And you're like...
But that's real. I love lucid dreaming.
Lucid dreaming, that's real. But okay, so the number one thing... the thing, it's all in your head. So what they say is you can be traumatized if you go into a lucid dream and you dream about being in real life Call of Duty, let's say. You can come out with shell shock, and I'm like, no, because if that was the case, then anybody that got really into their video game or anybody that plays, VR, is going to. We should see a pattern of people who do these activities and come out with, some kind of PTSD. So, and then it's like, don't have sex with people, and you're like, why would you not? If you're lucid dreaming, you should be having sex with everybody. But yeah, it's just like that type of stuff. I'm trying to just address more of the stupid claims, because there's not really a lot of, outside of the climate warming stuff, climate change and anti-vax, there's not really a lot of bad science to debunk. Everything else, like crystal healers and essential oils, those are all just making fun of the stupid belief. Because there's no backing to it, but there's no backing for it either. There's no real argument to address there.
People are pretty. Actually, I may take this opportunity to give a very, very premature plug, but I'm in the process of arranging. I'm speaking with a publisher. I'm probably going to be writing a book on this sort of stuff that you're talking about. It's going to be the working title is Chemical Quackery. Nice. Layperson's navigating science in the post-truth era. It's going to be about this, because I want to arm people with the tools to know that crystal healing is bullshit and homeopathy is bullshit and Reiki is bullshit and all this kind of stuff. And those are the low-hanging fruits, but I want to equip people with the tools to be able to look things up on the internet and know whether they're true or not, regarding health and nutrition and that kind of stuff, So look out for that in like 9 months. I haven't even started writing it yet. I did got to sign a contract first, but
yeah, well, let us definitely know when that comes out, because I'll be interested in grabbing a copy of that. Let me go ahead and drop my Teespring link in there for the people, for the Australians, because we need to help those guys out. Let me see.
So, Dave, is there any other conspiracies that you've got your sights on? You've done Flat Earth pretty well, practically killed it.
Like I said earlier, I'm
and you just
doing...
go
Sorry.
ahead.
Oh yeah, like I said earlier, I'm interested in doing the Electric Universe one, because that one's a little more nuanced. You know what I mean? It's something that you like to debunk. Flat Earth requires essentially zero scientific training. It requires a semi-functional brain. You know what I mean? Electric Universe requires some knowledge of physics. Actually, in fact, I'm going to have to study a little more physics to be rooted in the appropriate vernacular to debunk a lot of their claims. But and there are actual PhD scientists that espouse this stuff, but it's really is nonsense. When it doesn't hold up to scrutiny at all. But I really get this a lot. Like I get comments on, I have tutorials on like general relativity and stuff, they're very rudimentary. I don't understand relativity that well. Like I don't understand it I don't understand the mathematics behind it that well, and I hope to one day. So I'm just sort of giving the gist on a conceptual level, and I'll get all of these comments that are like, this is outdated, this is wrong, this is proven wrong, Einstein was stupid, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, what are you talking about? You just watched a YouTube video that you liked, that it was saying that Einstein is wrong, and you think that that's like a fun thing, and you just bought it. Like, you just bought it, you know?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what just happened, and you have no basis for anything that you're saying. If you want to learn physics, learn physics. But if you do, you will see that there's no basis to this thing, that gravity is not real, and it's all. I mean, look, take some objects at differing magnetic properties and drop them, and observe that they all fall at the same rate. I mean, do stuff on Earth. It's very easy to do stuff on Earth to show that gravity is not electromagnetic in nature. It's very easy. So,
you know,
yeah,
something you told Kent in the debate that I really liked, and I always tell people this when I'm debating them. I'm like, do you even understand what I'm saying to be able to debunk me? Because if you don't, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, then you can't say that I'm wrong. You know, you have to understand the science to be able to debunk the science, or even to promote it, really, you know?
I think my biggest regret in the entire debate is he had that whole 5 to 10 minute thing where he just said it. He just said it over and over again. You think this is related to that, and you think this is related to this, and you think this came from that. And what I should have just said was, why do you think it's not? Explain. You know?
Right.
And watch him flounder through some semblance of an explanation where there is not one, you know, because it would have required him to discuss genetics, which he does not understand, and you know. But I didn't say that, so
the thing about
I might be being a little hard on myself, but I did not do as well as I wanted to. I definitely could have done better, but next time.
Well, I thought you did very well. You're not as experienced in debates as like me and team. I've done hundreds now since I started this. But you've got the scientific knowledge, and you really held his feet to the fire, which I liked. But going up against someone like Kent, who has that script and doesn't want to get off the script, it's going to put you on your back feet because you want to get him to answer questions. And Kent, very much like flat earthers don't try and debunk the glow earth model. They debunk what they think the glow earth model is. And it's the same with Kent. He doesn't debunk evolution, he debunks what he thinks evolution is. But
His
what
idea.
his evolution isn't right.
That's 100% correct. Yeah.
So
So if we ever cross that in my strategy,
you have to educate him first.
Yeah. Or just to, expose his ignorance, in a way that is undeniable to even his followers.
Yeah, which I found it also funny that during the debate he had his group of people there watching him. I mean, how many times did they sit there and watched him say the same thing over and over and over again? I mean, that's cult to me.
They're getting paid under the table. I mean, this thing of like, oh, they're volunteers. They're not volunteers. What are you talking about? You paid them money. Are you? No one.
I want to see you go to Dino Park and have the debate in person. I'd go there and be your Gatorade boy.
Why would I go to his? The amount of legitimacy that would give him? Absolutely not. I would never go there. First of all, I'm not going to spend.
Wouldn't you like to destroy him on his home turf?
No, I have no interest. I'm like half and half on potentially debating him again. That may happen, but I would never spend money to debunk him or ingratiate him with my presence. Are you kidding me? There's no way I would ever do that. He's a joke.
He seemed like a big Professor Dave fan at the beginning. He complimented you, said your videos were easy to understand.
You come off as self-righteous, but I mean, the thing is, a lot of people say that he should not be given a platform and that it's wrong to be giving him a platform. And I can't say that they're wrong. You know what I mean? Like, they do have a point. None of us should be debating him in the first place. But it is also a valid point that if left unchecked, he does damage. You know what I mean? So it is tough. I'm open to the idea that no one should be debating him, but I just haven't heard a strong enough argument to compel me to not engage with these types of people.
Yeah.
So it's hard. It's hard to know what to do,
Yeah, I get it. We get it a lot. People say, why do you even give these people the time of day? Honestly, it's fun. It's fun, and everybody out there that's watching seems to enjoy it. So I don't see why we shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not lying. Obviously, I see a bump in views when I post this kind of content. I actually posted here. Let me check right now. I posted the my debate with Kent at like 11 a.m. today, and I've already got. Let me check here. About 3,500 views or so. Which usually I post a video in 24 hours, I'll get between 1,000 and 2,000 views. So.
Wow, I do not see how that not that many people watch your content, man. God, we need more people watching Professor Dave. Bottom line.
But the thing is, like, if I release like a linear algebra tutorial, who is going to watch that? That's not in a linear algebra course. You know what I mean? Even if you had a linear algebra course in the past, or are going to have one in the future,
right.
You're probably only going to watch it if that's your lesson this week. So,
do you see that your videos get steady views as like let's say my videos are more entertaining, less educational. So mine are more in the moment. You'll watch it one time, good to go, no big deal. You go to the next one. You may not ever go back to that one ever again. But for somebody like you have an educational channel that really focuses on teaching people things. So to me, you might not have a lot of views today, and you might not have a lot of views tomorrow, and you might not have, according to somebody that has a channel of your size, for instance, like an entertainer who puts out a video. But your videos, I think, stay relevant for longer. Because 2 years from now, someone might ask the question, and because there's not a huge amount of educational videos explaining that, it's very easy to find yourself at the top of the list and having people watch your videos over time.
You just do it better. You know what I mean? If you just explain it more clearly. I mean, I really lucked out because I've been trying. I'm 36. I spent my entire 20s trying to be successful in music and almost made it, and it didn't work. But it's with educational content, I finally found content that is truly evergreen, and it just the viewership, it builds. I mean, I might get 1,000 views on day one, but then I get 500 a day for the next 30 years. You know what I mean? So my strategy has just been to have incredible rate of output. And I'm watching the revenue go up slowly to the point where I can, support my family on YouTube, which is pretty crazy to say. Yeah, it feels great. Yeah. I mean, it's really recent. It's as I think around October. This past October was the first time my YouTube revenue for the month was larger than my rent and bills. So that felt good. Yeah.
Yeah. We do have
team and I have worked really hard on our channels, and I mean, I've only been around for a year myself, and that feeling of I'm doing something and people are watching it and that is supporting me, that does feel good, and it makes me want to keep doing it. And to see someone like you who's being successful with the educational content that you put out, I think is fantastic.
Yeah, it's the number one source of pride in my life right now. Yeah.
Well, what got me was when I first started this. Of course, I did not have any intention of being a bigger YouTuber or even a moderate-sized YouTuber, because I hate using the term bigger YouTuber. When I talk to people about having subscribers, like when I talk to people I meet out in Dallas or whatever, and I say, "Oh yeah, I have 20,000 subscribers," they're like, "Wow, that's a lot," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's." Not really. I've still got a long way to go. But it is, and only because, like, if I wasn't a YouTuber, then I would have thought the same thing. It wasn't until I got in here and realized there's other channels out there that have millions and millions and millions of subscribers, and 25. I'm sorry.
You never think that,
Exactly.
I have channels with 3-4 million subscribers, and I feel small.
And then, but my son told me, he said, what you shouldn't even expect 100 subscribers in the first year. You should get on there, just do your thing, have a good time, and don't expect to have a lot of subscribers. And I think by the end of my first year, I think I had about 8,800 or not close to 9,000. And that's when I was like, okay, so there's people out there that actually like what I do. Like, it's time to take. I'm sorry.
It took me a year and like 3 months to get 10,000. So yeah, we were at the same rate. pretty much.
Where are you at right now? Is it like 200 and something thousand, or is it 400? No, maybe
600,000.
Six. Okay. I'm telling you, I think you've grown quite a bit since you put out the Flat Earth stuff, have you not? I thought that
it's all organic growth from my normal content. I would say that the Flat Earth stuff has probably brought me maybe 10,000, maybe 10 to, or I'd say around 10,000 subscribers probably that wouldn't have found me otherwise, that were really interested in debunking stuff. Maybe 20. I mean, it gave me a little boost, but definitely the channel is just exponential growth based on the academic subjects I'm covering, basically.
Yeah. And then
the boost
yeah. Do you find yourself making videos on one type of content? Like, let's say you'll put out 10 biochemistry videos and then do 10 of another topic within biochemistry, and then 10 of a topic that's, that leads from the other topic. When I watch your videos, I just kind of feel like that's what you do. You kind of hit topics in batches, and they all kind of lead into something else. I think that helps too.
I cover academic subjects, and when I cover a subject, I'm trying to cover the majority of the learning objectives in, say, an undergraduate introductory course in that subject. So whether I'm doing, microbiology or pharmacology or whatever it is, I'm trying to basically cover a 101 syllabus.
Yeah.
That's pretty much in 20 or 30 tutorials or whatever it is,
Yeah,
so I don't do.
Yeah, I guess I watch a lot of your the physics videos you've had from a couple of years ago. I've watched a lot of those videos. That's probably where I found your channel at, because I watch a lot of, I've said this before, I think, I watch a lot of A Science Asylum, I watch your channel a lot, I watch a lot of Fermilab's content. I just find those channels to be informative. I think that if you want to get information, you want to learn something, that you're probably going to find some kind of method of learning it for yourself in those videos. There's other places that are really good at explaining things, but they don't really show you equations on the screen. They don't really walk you through the equations or why certain aspects of the biochemistry or whatever science you're talking about are important, where I feel like you kind of do cover those topics. That's awesome.
There has to be a certain amount of rigor to be truly educational content, because there's a lot of edutainment where people just sort of watch it so that they can pat themselves on the back for having watched something educational, but they're really walking away with no real comprehensive understanding of what that was. So it's not that you have to be able to take like a 5-page exam after you watch a thing, but like there's got to be some equations on there. Like there has to be a minimum level of rigor, which is why I align my stuff with academic curricula, because look, I want you to come away from a series as though you got a B- in that course 4 years ago and you kind of remember it. You know what I mean? Like, not like you're killing it and you do it tomorrow, but like, oh yeah, I took that course a while ago. I kind of remember it. Yeah, I know that stuff sort of. Like, that's what I'm trying to deliver to people, basically.
Well, Dave, I guess it was a great having you on. I'm going to probably call it a night. This has been amazing.
Sure.
I know you said you had something to do here in a little bit, and I don't want to keep you too long from that. But we need an acceptance speech. We need 2 more things tonight, okay? The last time you were on here, I think it might have been the first time we did our My Buddy's an Idiot, or maybe our first or second time we did a My Buddy's an Idiot. Do you remember that time when we read off the chat, My Buddy's an Idiot, because...
Talk to a bunch of you guys about Flat Earth and talk about some of my previous content. Is that the one that you're...
Yeah, that was the one. But we now have a new method. We now have a speech bot lady who will come in here and read it off for us, so we don't even have to do it.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So what I want to do, first off, we do need a victory speech from you, because you did actually beat Kent Hovind in the idiot off. You proved him to be an idiot more than he proved himself to be an idiot, when I thought it was completely impossible for any one single human to be able to make Kent Hovind look like a bigger idiot than himself. So, victory speech right now, do you have time for that?
Sure. I mean, I think, I would hold off on the true victory. I mean, I might be naive in thinking that it is possible to to say or do anything that could demonstrate to Kent's own followers what a piece of crap he is. That would be the true victory-worthy moment. I don't know if I'm capable of that. I would like to think that I am. But sure, I suppose I can take credit for having demonstrated to his face how many of his talking points are invalid, even more than he did so himself. So I'm proud of that. And if there's another opportunity, that will be my MO. That will be the sole purpose of the debate. Will to be in rapid succession demonstrate that everything he says is wrong and stupid. So we'll see if that happens. I'm not sure.
Well, I know it will happen because his talking points don't change, and the answers to show how stupid he is doesn't change either. And you have a extremely good grasp on those answers, and he has no idea what he's even fucking talking about. So, today's My Buddy's an Idiot. Let me go ahead and finish getting this set up for us. Let me get you off full screen too. All right, so today's My Buddy's an Idiot is going to be Kent Hovind's an idiot. So guys, in the chat tonight, and we do have it going already, let me start it off for you. Kent Hovind's an idiot because he thinks he can take on Professor Legend. Let's see, I hope this will, oh, let me see, yeah, it should work. Let me get the audio on. Sure that we're not. Okay, so that should be good. Let's see if it works.
Team Skeptic says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he thinks he can take on Professor Legend.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, guys. So we're gonna let it go out on that tonight. You guys say what you gotta say as you. Whatever you want to say about Kent Hovind and the reason that Kent Hovind's an idiot, the chat is up to you guys. We're going to shut it down here in a second and let it just play out while we listen in the background. All right. Hey, Dave, I appreciate you coming on, man.
Happy to be here, yeah. Thanks for having me.
MR Unite for the Children says Kent Hovind's an idiot. My buddy's an idiot because he won't stop saying dogs make dogs. A dog. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he didn't do the Sikhs dance in his Mankanai on Modern Day Debate.
Oh, yeah.
Clive Wells says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he thinks evolution means an elephant can give birth to a coffee table. Quit asking me to sprinkle them titties. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he thinks God created titty sprinkles. Chef Allen says Kent Hovind's an idiot because dog produced dogs. Theathens619 says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he didn't know what allele frequencies were. Jukin726 says Kent Hovind's an idiot because a book says a thing. Timo Manpa says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he thinks God created rabbits perfect without giving them wings. Chrismer says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he thinks the whale has a 15-foot penis. Harry Warp says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he thinks rocks have genes. They prefer slacks. Sable Eagle says Kent Hovind's an idiot, and I'd love to hear that he's been hit on the head with a 100m iron ball at 17 kilometers per second. Darth Weezius says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he wasn't clever enough to cook his books and get away with it. Theathens619 says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he says, I know this, but tell me yourself. Woden Toad 1 says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he uses a hard T in water. TFE says Kent Hovind's an idiot because submarines aren't fish. A dog says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he dropped the soap in jail. Craven Murdoch says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he thinks rocks turn into people. Heat Shield says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he isn't prepared for that. Theathens619 says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he has Dunning-Kruger and thinks he can debunk someone with a PhD. Woden Toad 1 says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he uses a hard T in water. MR Unite Fourthy Children. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he's not prepared to talk about that tonight. Chef Allen. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because rocks wear Levi's. Kino. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he thinks one book contains the actual word of God.
Yeah, take it easy. Professor Dave, you're more than welcome to hang out.
Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he wasn't
whatever
prepared
you'd like
for that.
to do, man, but we're about to...
Team Skeptic. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he wants to know what the DNA of rocks are.
They're the best, man. I have the
Michael
best
Barrett.
Speak to you soon.
Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he thinks he was a teacher. Quit asking me to sprinkle them titties. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because Mergerdern Sir learned. Daniel Cooper. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he thinks Professor Dave is a fish. Sable Eagle. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot who mistook Kent Hovind for a human being. William Newman. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he doesn't appreciate the mankanai.
Hey, before I let any more of these play, guys, the best of these are gonna go on the end of my my Australian Relief Fire video, the one that has the Kent Hovind stuff in it. So, guys, have fun with it. I'm about to get out of here. Thank you very much, everybody, for showing up. Thank you very much. I believe I did have a super chat that I didn't get from In the Flat Earth. Mahalo. Thank you. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great night. Y'all have fun. We're going to leave this on for about 5 minutes. Y'all have fun.
Or that. Or anything really. Quit asking me to sprinkle them titties. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he kept dropping his soap in the shower in prison. Cypher 0. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he thinks I'm a fish because I've taken a swim before. He's also a tax cheat. Chrismer. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because, well, he's a fucking idiot. Ding. Darth Weezius. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he believes the Earth is only 6,000 years old. He doesn't think the world existed before he was born. Woden Toad 1. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he can't stop gish galloping. Oh Elam. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he has a PhD in dumb fuckery. Theothens 619. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because Pangea can break apart within 6,000 years. Owen Roderick. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because elephants and pine trees. Craven Murdoch. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot and satellites go beep 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 beep. William Newman. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he hates meat tubes. Chrismer. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he thinks 6,000 years is a long time. Theothens 619. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he thinks he was innocent when proven guilty in an honest court of law. Clive Wells. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because his academic credentials are as fraudulent as his tax returns. Quit asking me to sprinkle them titties. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because whales don't need bones to control their dicks. Chucky McNubbin. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he can't let go of his tax-exempt status. Michael Barrett. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he's been reading the same book for 51 years and hasn't realized it's BS. Cypher 0. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because I am not a fish and Sable Eagle. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot and he smells of elderberries. Anonymous. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because, well, he's just a fucking idiot, and he has a drive in being a dumb fuck. Damon McCready. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because someone wrote it in a book, so it must be true. Craven Murdoch. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because wind goes 800 miles an hour. Damon McCready. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he broke up with his girlfriend. He thought she was too curvy. Your pal Al. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because kangaroos are in Australia because they're afraid of tigers. What an idiot. Kino. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because he believes what he says. Damon McCready. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because makes Team Skeptic go ding 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 because he broke up with his girlfriend. Daniel Cooper. He thought she was too curvy. An idiot because Del said no. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because kangaroos are in Australia because they're afraid of tigers. Says Kent Hovind's an idiot because planes go zzz. Says Kent Hovind